I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice. Not a game, not a game.
Me. Bam, bam. Me, man.
Not a game.
Slap that like she scored 30.
What are we even talking about, man? We talking about sports here.
All right, welcome back to We Talking About Sports. We got a fun-filled day of sports talk ahead of us. You just had UFC 268 happen. We had that Underdog Sunday happen, and some NBA, man, some new faces of the league as far as first place standings to talk about. But tell me about your weekend. Where'd y'all see the UFC at?
Sure, I just watched it on my phone. I was out. Excuse me, I was out and about this past weekend. Really didn't have a chance to sit down and watch it, so I found a link and I kind of watched some fights. So I hope Dana's not listening to this, but I caught some of the main fights there on the main card.
I wonder who gave you that link, bro.
Can't say who.
Yeah, all right, Takashi. I cooked out here at the crib. Had some people over. Joby came over for the fight. Some of Gabby's family, but watched that and the Canelo fight here. So had both TVs going. Had the grill going. It was a great night of fights. I thought it kind of slowed down a little bit towards the end. That Rose fight, we'll talk about it, but it didn't live up to the hype that I expected. But yeah, it was a good weekend, and looking forward to this weekend. Shit, tomorrow's Friday, baby.
Man, I almost forgot to mention the Canelo fight because of how dominant a performance it was in the end for him. I mean, he definitely put Plant down, and Plant didn't want no more. I didn't see no arguments from him on that side.
It came out of nowhere, too.
Find it disrespectful that Dana was watching the fight?
No, not at all.
The Rose and Wade?
Nah. I mean, he says he had $100,000 on Canelo by KO, so that line was around minus 130. So, I mean, if you have $100,000 on the line, you're watching whatever the fuck you bet on. I'll tell you that.
I was good with it. Well, let's get into the NFL. The big news today was what we talked about last week with Odell Beckham. We said we don't know what's going to happen. He's probably going to just get the treatment of Deshaun and stay on his team, not get cut, not see a free agency. He didn't get traded. We were wrong. I mean, we were off on that one. It happens. Let's talk about his landing spots this morning. This morning, the report says it's going to be the Chiefs, it's going to be the Packers, it's going to be the Saints. We had this slide prepared thinking we're going to talk about one of these teams and what makes the most sense for him. But these reports came out 5 minutes later. Odell's got a spot, guys, and it's the Rams. These guys are all in. Talk about all in. I don't know a team that has been this much all in a while. Can you think of another team that's been like this, collecting superstars?
Yeah,
Everybody else.
Yeah, recent memory, I can't. Maybe that year that the Patriots went out and got Moss and kind of just went over the top, but you really got to go back a while to get there. But pretty crazy. I mean, you got people on both sides of the fence. You got people on the side of the fence that Odell still has the juice, and you got people on the other side of the fence that think that this isn't an Antonio Bryant situation and that Odell's best days are behind him. And, the quarterback change is not going to put him top 10 where, those people still hold him based off name value. So what side of the fence do you all stand on before, we talk about it?
Well, answering further on Justin's question, I can't remember a team, this all in and, just the way that they've gone about it, pretty much just mortgaging their future. This one is more of, this guy who cleared waivers, Brandon OBJ, and I do think it is a little bit more just his namesake and the weight that his name carries. It's a big splash. It's OBJ. For all intents and purposes, he is healthy. When he was on the field with the Browns, I mean, there was a big video that came out, that his dad found on YouTube and ahead and posted it out onto his social medias, pretty much blasting Baker Mayfield for constantly not throwing the ball or overthrowing or underthrowing OBJ. I saw some of those passes, and OBJ was getting open on some of those, and just flat out missed them. So the train of thought is if he's going to go to Matt, he's going to get hit on some of those, which I do think he will. I mean, he's going to slide into a nice little role. He's not going to have to be the main guy, but I also do think that the days of OBJ going for 1,500 yards or going for 150 game or consistently are over. I don't think he's a wide receiver one by any stretch of the imagination anymore. But I think quality piece to have, and I think the Rams are a team that can, I guess, take on because they already got solidified receivers in Cup and Wood. They got Matthew Stafford. They have a solid run game with Henderson and Michelle. Adding OBJ's a little cherry on top.
Yeah, I'm with Roland. I think there's some juice still on there, some tread on the tires for the most part. And he's in a good situation here because he doesn't have to be wide receiver one either. They got Cooper Kupp, they got Bobby Woods and Van Jefferson. Those are good, options. So there's going to be less targets. The only thing of concern is, does he know what he's getting into? Deshaun Jackson wanted out because there wasn't enough targets. Does he know that that's going to be the same situation here? Because if he does and he's good with that, I think this is a great situation for the Rams and Odell. It's a 1-year deal. If it doesn't work out this year, they can, wash their hands clean of this. So I think it's a good deal for the Rams.
It's good for him because he can just go show, look, I've still got it. Like you said, a 1-year deal. So this summer, he could have a little bidding war if he still got it. I don't think that Roland was on the same side of you, Justin. I know it was a little hard to hear him. He was coming in and out a bit, but I think Roland is more on the side of OBJ's best days are behind him, and he's not like AB going to the Bucks, even though AB going to the Bucks behind Godwin, behind Mike Evans, so he is the third receiver also. Same role OBJ is going to be in. The thing I'll say about Deshaun Jackson, him and the rookie Van Jefferson or the second-year guy Van Jefferson, they're pretty much the same player. So the Rams are going to play the younger guy over Deshaun Jackson. OBJ brings another element to them. So I do think that he's going to see the field. I expect him at least 50% of snaps. I think that he's got to be out there for them. They usually do go 3 wide receivers for the most part. Listen, if he doesn't show out with the Rams, because you got Cooper Kupp, you got Bobby Woods. If he doesn't show out with the Rams, then it might just be over, bro. It might just, you're getting open, but we're gonna find out for sure now. No more excuses because Matt Stafford has looked like a top 5 quarterback this year with the Rams.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry if I was cutting in and out. Hopefully I'm a little bit more clear now. But I was saying that OBJ, I do think his best days are behind him, but that's not to say that he can't be a contributor on the Rams team. And that's, I think it's a good squad for him to go to. He doesn't have too much pressure. He has a lot of guys on that team that are already producing, and he's just like the cherry on top. I think this is a good time for him to go out and showcase his skills. He's not going to have to go up against a lot of number 1 cornerbacks on the other side. Find a lot of nickel matchups and matchups with safeties, and he's going to have to go to work here. I think he's going to have some splashes here and there, but again, I was just trying to say I don't think he's a wide receiver 1 anymore or a top 10 guy in the league. I think he's still capable. I don't think he's washed by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't think he's what he used to be. I don't think he's an OBJ that we had on that screen earlier going up for a one-handed catch.
Is there a chance that he overtakes Robert Woods as a number 2? I guess we'll kind of end on this for Odell with the Rams.
I mean, if he's still got it, I could see him doing that. Yeah.
So the last thing I do want to talk about, though, is La La Land. This is L.A. Odell likes to be with the stars. Any trouble here that you can see for Odell being in La La Land?
You got to think he's got to be on his best behavior, bro. Like, I don't even mean to say it like in some weird ass type of way, but I mean it's a 1-year deal. If you act the fool and shit goes wrong, you might not be playing football next year, bro. You know what I mean? It's with Odell Beckham comes a lot of drama. That's the way that it's been throughout his NFL career. And yes, he has deserved it because at times, like we said, that catch made his whole career. Let's be honest. Yeah. That made his career.
He's had some pretty big drops and some big situations too. Coming off a questionable decisions, going, and everybody wants to hold it against him, but it's, when he decided to go to the beach on the weekend before the wild card game when he was with the Giants, and then
Hasn't been the same since, Roland.
Yeah, then he goes out and has a drop against the Packers that next weekend. That if he catches the ball, who knows, maybe it extends that drive and they keep on going. But nonetheless, he has a chance here to prove that he's still got it, that he's still got some juice left in the tank. And like Ben was saying, who better to sling him the rock than Matt Stafford?
Yeah.
And Roland, he had his pick of quarterbacks. I mean, aside from the Saints, because that probably would not have been good. Yes, there he would have been the no doubt number one receiver with New Orleans. But those targets would have been just the same as they were in Cleveland, brother. They wouldn't have been good targets.
Yeah.
He was picking between the Chiefs. He was picking between Mahomes, Rodgers, and then he ended up with Matthew Stafford. Listen, if you can't show out with one of these guys and you had your pick of the litter, that's why nobody claimed you on waivers, because you made it known. If a sucky-ass team claims me, I ain't even showing up, fam.
Yeah. So
it was known. He ends up where he wants to. It's your time now. And this Photoshop, it looks pretty nice with that one sleeve and shit. He's already looking swaggy. I ain't gonna lie. I know earlier we saw him in a number 3. I don't know what jersey number he's gonna wear. Has he made it official yet or no?
I'm not sure if that's official yet.
Shout out Marky. I know this was his dream. He had a boner all day today, man. And he's in first place right now in the fantasy football league for the podcast. So you know that he won last year. He might be getting another Rams jersey, possibly.
That might be in the works.
Just make the Rams the favorites.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I think and
Roland already maybe the favorites.
Roland though, but like, does it though, Roland? We're here. Me and you are here saying that he might not. He doesn't have the juice anymore.
Maybe I'm saying maybe they were already the favorites. Right? They does it solidify them? Because I mean, they were a toss up for me. I had them at 1 or 2 in my power rankings.
The reason I'll say they're the favorites is because they have that win over the Bucs already.
Yeah, they're already doing that without OBJ.
And if anybody else was going to be the favorite out there, it was going to be the Bucs.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, the Cardinals have the best record, and people just still ain't taking them that serious. Kyler Murray's injured. Hopkins is injured. You're waiting for the wheels to fall off, and I just can't believe the way that they're holding it together, bro, in Arizona. I ain't gonna lie. Connor had a god game. Connor had that fantasy game where it will be remembered forever, bro. The game that James Conner just had.
Running touchdowns, catching touchdowns.
40 points, fam. 40 points.
Yeah. 40 spot.
All right, last Sunday, every underdog has his day, and it seemed like it was scheduled for last Sunday. Here's some of the teams that fell to underdogs: Cowboys, Bengals, Saints, Raiders, Bills, and Rams. Both our teams are on there. We got the Cowboys and the Bills on there, Ben. What'd you think about this underdog Sunday?
And both double-digit favorites, bro.
Yes, 10-point favorites on them.
Double-digit favorites. I mean, it was nasty for both teams. It was nasty for both teams. And listen, there had been a couple of the favorites just dominating. It was like 2 or 3 weeks straight. And this past week, survivor pools got killed with the Cowboys losing, with the Bills losing, and with the Bengals losing. Shit, I was still alive in a survivor pool. The Bengals lost. I couldn't believe it. They got smashed.
The Browns smashed them.
Yeah, the Browns smashed them. So, and even the week before, they had lost. So the Bengals, we might have to start asking some serious questions about the Bengals. They're on a bye week this week. They were in first place in their division, guys. The Bengals, and now they're in last 2 weeks later. That's what 2 straight losses in that division will do for you. These are a lot of teams that we expected to be division winners, a lot of losses that we didn't have chalked up as losses, looking at the schedule preseason when you're talking about win totals and whatever it may be. But yeah, wild Sunday. One of the more wild Sundays in a minute.
And we're not talking about the Rams yet either. The Rams lost as well.
Sunday night. You knew it was coming too. The way the whole day had gone, you just should have known it was coming. And shout out the Titans, bro. The Titans lose Derrick Henry. AP comes in off the couch, finds Painter, scores a tutty, and they dominated the Rams. So shout out the Titans because Vrabel, Houston had that guy in their building, and they let him walk to a division rival and become a head coach. Vrabel's a pretty good head coach, man. He figures it out.
I think we got to start talking about the Titans almost in the same way we talk about the Bills as being the favorites for the AFC. Since they do have wins over the Bills and the Rams, why don't we give them their credit? You know what I mean?
Henry's hurt, bro.
Yeah, they do deserve their respect, Justin. I mean, that's a good point. They have some pretty big quality victories. I mean, especially when you count that Rams victory last week. I mean, they did it. I mean, you can't. It's not like the game didn't happen. You know, the game happened in between the end zone. So I like the Titans. I like Mike Vrabel. He's a great coach. He's not a very talked about coach in terms of like the great coaches in the NFL, but he kind of has like that Mike Tomlin kind of swagger. Yeah. He has that same kind of respect from the players, and you can just tell that he's a guy that's just confident as hell. Like he's the most confident guy out there, and he's a guy that you can get behind, and it shows with his players. So they're just a bunch of guys that really don't have a lot of respect right now. If you think about it, you know, Tannehill, respect him as a top quarterback, but he just does it season after season. So the Titans, I won't call them, you know, just as good as the Bills, but they are a contender right now. Losing Henry sucks, but maybe they can keep it together. Brown each week is proving why he's a wide receiver number one for the next couple of years. But out of the teams here on this list, the Cowboys, they pretty much got blanked 30-0. Until they got those 2 late touchdowns. Dak Prescott, he ended up with like 22 fantasy points at the end of the day. I was playing him. He had like 5 points going into like that fourth quarter and ended up making value. But that's like the definition of
he was on his Jalen Hurts that day.
Yeah, he was on that
garbage time.
Yeah. The Bengals, I'm not sure if they're for real after all. I know we were talking about them at 5-2 as maybe being a quality team in the AFC, but they're losing out on that offensive line where we were going for Chase, which has proven to be a good pick for them, but you need an O-line to survive the whole year. But every dog, like says, every dog has its day. And I think that's all that it is. The Cowboys, I don't think there's anything really serious to be worried about. They were Tyron Smith, so I'm not too worried there. The Rams, the Bills, I think these are all still the top teams. I don't think there's anything to be worried about.
Yeah. And the only thing to what Ben didn't want to give credit towards the Titans, I can admit that does hurt him, was that Jets loss.
The Jets.
Yeah, but every dog has a day. Every team has a bad loss.
Yeah.
We just have to see more of them without Derrick Henry. I mean, teams lose best player, rally, and go and win the next game. It kind of happens when they lose coaches, lose players. They got the Saints this week. The Saints are going to be desperate as hell. They've lost some games that they weren't supposed to lose. And I believe that the game is in New Orleans as well. So I think that it's a good test this week against the Saints team to find out, without their run game, if they can get it done.
All right. Moving on, I got another segment for you guys. I just want some quick headline reactions to what you read here. First, we'll start with Roland. The Dallas Cowboys defensive end, Randy Gregory, expected to miss multiple weeks with a calf injury. Only one getting pressure, Roland. What do you think here? Is this a big hurt?
It's a brutal loss. It's a brutal loss, especially if he goes on now. We're already down to Marcus Lawrence, and he was the big alpha of getting pressure on the quarterback. We have a decent group of guys on the line, but Randy Gregory was playing by far the best brand of football. Losing him definitely hurts.
All right, moving on to Ben. The Bills, Sean McDermott on Bills offensive line imbalance. Adjustments are being made. What's going on with the O-line?
The O-line is horrible. There's no running game. Zach Moss got a concussion, so he left the game this past week. And there just really hasn't been a run game if Josh Allen isn't getting it done, with his legs. So I don't think that there's a quick fix for that. Maybe Dawson Knox coming back, more
He's
intermediate.
a tight end, right, for the Bills, Knox?
Yeah, he should be coming back this week. He had broken a bone in his hand. But that'll be, the more intermediate routes, shorter routes, get the ball out quicker. He had been connecting, very well with Knox when Knox was playing. But, yeah, man, the O-line is a huge problem. The O-line is a big problem for the Bills. And it was Josh Allen sacking Josh Allen and Josh Allen intercepting Josh Allen this past Sunday. Josh Allen for the Jaguars, former Kentucky player?
Yes.
Yeah. Beast. I mean, he was the best player on the field Sunday against the Bills, and he showed out.
Yeah, if you would have told me Josh Allen would have been the best player on the field, I would have said yes, but I would be thinking it's the quarterback, not the linebacker for the Jaguars.
Ron's must start of the week.
Yeah.
That's why Ron didn't show up. How do you pick Josh Allen? You know, he was like one of the favorites for MVP, must start of the week, and he has the worst game of his fucking life, bro. Flag football included, Boys and Girls Club included, junior high. It was just the worst game ever, dog.
9-6, 69.
Horrible.
All right, just for both of y'all here. Did y'all see the Carolina play with Mac Jones when he throws the interception and he seems to kind of like gator roll on the linebacker's ankle? Did y'all see that play?
Dirty
and
play.
If you did you think it was dirty?
Dirty play. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna disagree hard. How many times do we see the quarterback during an interception, because that wasn't an interception? How many times do we see, defensive linemen, linebackers just go find the quarterback and lay him, the fuck out on an interception just because you can?
But that's legal, though. You can do that, right?
And did he get flagged? What he did was it illegal? Did he get flagged? Am I missing something or no?
But it's dirty though.
It's it's a quarterback. You're telling me the quarterback is dirty? Get out of here, bro. That guy don't belong on defense if that shit was dirty. We're talking about a white boy named Mac Jones.
Hey.
Hey, fam.
It's Mac Jones.
So when he was walking to the draft,
racist, bro.
He's not intimidating anybody is what I'm saying. He's not
intimidating
a soul.
It's not about that.
So that guy needs to rethink if he belongs on defense.
But I think I'm with Roland here. There's intentionality in what Mac Jones is doing, and that's what makes it dirty.
That's rookie of the year shit right there. That's rookie of the year shit right there.
Why are you crying for quarterbacks protection? They're the most protected player in the game.
Exactly.
Who cares if
they are
get a little nicked up?
Yeah.
So I don't know why you're crying about that.
So when a guy wants to get in the trenches and get dirty, y'all are here criticizing him on it? Yeah.
There's a difference between getting dirty.
The trenches are dirty, baby. The trenches are dirty. All right, as an offensive lineman back in the day, I'm gonna tell you the trenches are dirty.
I'm just saying,
that's the way it is.
What if Brian Burns would have fucking torn up his knee on that play?
That's why it's called the trenches. Hey, Mac Jones ain't tearing anybody's shit, bro. All right,
but I think it was dirty. Man. I'm gonna side with Roland on this one. It was
be playing next
dirty.
week, bro. Get out of here. Get out of here.
It wasn't clean, but let's move on. We got Cam Newton back with the Panthers today. He's finally with the team. He has got his shot now, so I guess teams were looking towards him. Without it, I guess they were kind of passing him up. He might have realized that, made the decision, but he's back in Carolina. What do y'all think about this? I mean, with Sam Darnold out 3 or 4 weeks with the shoulder injury.
He'll be the starter next week.
The question, though, is it's an up on agreement. We're going to talk about the size of the upgrade. Are we all in agreement that this is an upgrade from Sam Darnold, Mr. Cooties, Mr. Icy Ghost, Mr. Done in the NFL, if you ask me?
Probably the same.
The same. Okay. Justin, upgrade at all?
Small upgrade.
Yeah, it's marginal.
You probably
Roland, is it the same or is it an upgrade, Roland?
I'm saying marginal, or if not the same. It's not anything to be like, oh my gosh, they're contenders now, or
it's not like you went from a B to an A quarterback.
I'm not saying they're going to.
This guy, what do you want me to say? Oh my gosh, he's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread in Carolina now. He's coming back to his MVP days, guys. No, I'm not going to say.
No, I mean, does the offense move? Relax. We're not. Does the offense move?
I mean, he just has to.
Not much better.
It was moving with Sam Darnold a little bit.
No, it wasn't.
Turnover crazy. Dude, they were like 3 or 4-0, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
Okay, if you're gonna you want to cap for Sam Darnold, that's on you, bro.
Over here. I'm not capping for anybody.
No, that's what you are.
I mean, we just have quick memories. It seems like
all we've seen is Sam Darnold. The other team win.
I just remember they were 3 or 4-0, and people were talking about whether they were for real or not. I'm just saying.
Yeah, people were talking about this was like a revitalization for Sam Darnold.
It just so happened that it wasn't, and that he regressed back, and that he has a broken scapula in his right arm.
Good thing we recorded this. So if you go back to that podcast, we all said it wasn't for real. We said it was the same as the Broncos, strength of schedule. That's why we record this shit, Roland. That's why we record.
I'm just saying that he was the reason why they were there.
Does DJ Moore benefit from Cam Newton being there instead of Sam Darnold? Yes or no?
Marginally, it's not enough. It's just a little upgrade.
Probably not.
Okay, so then they should suck. They should suck the same. All right.
Yeah, I'll go on record and say they're going to be under the playoff status. They won't make a playoff.
They're one game out right now, so we'll see how they trend. They were definitely trending to be all the way out, though.
Okay, keeping it with football, we do have the college football playoff top 25, and I also have the AP top 25. Going to read out the top 4 to y'all. Number 1, Georgia. Number 2, Alabama. Number 3, Oregon. Number 4, Ohio State. With those 4, those would be the ones that make the playoffs this year. With the current standings that you see them in, do you agree with how they're placed, or would you switch someone out? Obviously, we're not moving Georgia, but 2 through 4 should be up for debate. Where would you have these teams ranked?
Man, I think I'm kind of fine with where the teams are at right now in the top 4, to be honest. I mean, Oregon does have a loss, but they lost to Auburn in Auburn it was 27-21. So that's nothing to be ashamed about. And they've taken care of business in conference so far.
Wait, Oregon lost to Stanford.
Oregon lost to Stanford? Am I looking
yes.
at the wrong
and Oregon has the best win because they beat Ohio State.
My bad. I'm looking at something wrong then. Excuse me.
Yeah. Alabama lost to A&M, who on the playoff poll is number 11. So I think for me, the only thing I would move would be Oregon to 2, just because they got the best win out of the 4 here. There's no signature win for Georgia yet. Alabama doesn't have a signature win yet. Ohio State's schedule is going to be good now with Penn State and Michigan and the Michigan State, but they don't have the signature win yet either. Oregon's the only one sitting here in the top 4 with a real signature win.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. That's a good call out. My bad I was looking at something different, but yeah, Oregon does have the best win. I agree there. I think they have the rightful spot. You can't argue Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia, you can't argue because
but they also might have the worst loss.
With Stanford, they might. With Stanford, that was a bad loss.
Stanford's under 500.
Yeah, at Stanford at the time, Stanford was what? They were 3-0, 4-0 too. I think
something like that.
They weren't bad at that time when they lost that game. They probably trended the wrong way. They were 2-2 when they beat Oregon, so they became 3-2.
2-2.
Yeah.
So 500.
That's not
and
good.
they had beaten the then 14th ranked USC. Well, we all know about USC now.
Right.
Yeah, but for sure.
I disagree.
I
think Oregon, I get the best win type of shit. I think it was a fluke. I think if they play, 9 more times, I think Ohio State wins those 9 and Oregon got that 1 out of the 10. And they played a hell of in Ohio State, but it was early. It was early in the season. Ohio State has been rolling since that. Ohio State.
Now, last weekend, though, they struggled with Nebraska.
Yeah, against who, though? Who have they been rolling against?
They've been rolling against who they
Rutgers,
who's beating
Maryland,
Tulsa by 2.
Tulsa.
Indiana. Yeah, Tulsa, Cincinnati just beat Tulsa by 2. I think Oregon.
I'm not saying for them to go below Cincinnati. I'm just saying.
I think Oregon ends up closer to number 10 when this is all said and done. I don't think that they're for real at all. I think that they have a loss coming up pretty soon against Utah. I agree with Ohio State. I'm fine with Alabama just because that's going to sort itself out. If Alabama loses to Georgia, they're not going to be in the playoff. If they beat Georgia, they will be in the playoff. So who cares what numbers on Alabama right now?
So you don't think that a 2-loss Alabama will make a 4 over Cincinnati that's undefeated?
No, or Oklahoma.
Shit. If
Oklahoma's number 8 in the playoff poll. They're already getting snubbed as it is.
Right, but they have their own. They're playing out their own destiny. Like if they go undefeated, they're getting in. It doesn't matter for Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma would make it in if they go undefeated too.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so you would jump Oklahoma. Let's say Alabama beats Georgia, wins the SEC championship. Georgia still deserves one of those 4 teams, right?
Yeah, they'll probably still be even number 2.
Okay, so put 1 Bama, 2 Georgia, 3. Let's say Ohio State runs the table.
Yep.
4 Oklahoma runs the table. You put them over Cincinnati.
Yep.
So Cincinnati would be the one that gets a snub there.
Yeah, and what might hurt Cincinnati even, I think the 2 teams that could get in over Cincinnati are Oklahoma and Notre Dame, bro.
So
Notre Dame?
If you think, what about if
Notre Dame over
out?
Cincinnati when Cincinnati has beat Notre Dame?
Yeah, but that's the one loss for Notre Dame, and they beat a lot tougher competition. Notre Dame's ranked ahead of them, aren't they?
Nah, I think the more that Notre Dame wins and that Cincinnati goes undefeated, you're not going to jump Notre Dame over Cincinnati, even if Cincinnati beat them. I mean, if Cincinnati beat them straight up, they're not going to get jumped by Notre Dame.
Yeah.
A one-loss Notre Dame, I think, gets in over Cincinnati.
Dude, the team that they lost to, I don't know about that.
I mean, look, we see Michigan ranked over Michigan State, and they just lost to them on the field.
Yeah, but we have Cincinnati currently ranked over Notre Dame as it is. So why would Notre Dame jump it?
Michigan State just lost a bad loss to Purdue.
That's fine, but they beat Michigan.
The spoiler makers.
They beat Michigan. Like, how is Michigan going to be ranked ahead of them?
It was a toss-up game. Toss-up game, 37-34.
One team won, one team lost. So if we're talking head-to-head, the same thing applies there. We already saw them put them what team that lost.
Needless to say, this isn't an easy job to do.
At all.
I mean, it's not easy, but
yeah, because there's a case for Ben's argument. There's a case for Roland's argument.
I just have a hard time, like Cincinnati, they go undefeated. Like, you're not going to tell me that they beat Notre Dame and Notre Dame's going to get in over them. I would just have a hard time buying that personally. I mean, not to say that it can't happen, because who knows what the hell that these odds makers, who these guys, the committee thinks, who knows what these guys are thinking, but definitely not an easy job.
This could get real interesting too, because let's say Alabama rises to the occasion, beats Georgia, we could have a non-undefeated team this year, and 1 through 10 with 1 loss, and what do you rank who, what, where, so this year can get real interesting for the college football playoff.
I mean, Cincinnati beat them kind of handedly. I mean, they were up 17-0 at half. I mean, yeah. I don't know.
The thing is with Cincinnati is they haven't done enough style points since then.
Yeah, exactly. And they struggled in some games.
They need to.
What do you think about if Oklahoma runs a table and the top 4, I mean, let's say Alabama beats Georgia, Oregon, they run the table. Does Oregon get in over the Big 12 champion over Ohio State?
I think Oregon gets in if you say they run the table.
Yeah.
And then Oklahoma or Ohio State for that 4th spot. I think you would honor one of them.
And
but it would be Oklahoma. Yeah, it would for sure be Ohio State over Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma's remaining schedule, they are playing number 13 Baylor this week, so they can and it's in Jailer. Yeah, it's in Jailer too, and they're ranked, so if they can beat them, they can get some style points. They got Iowa State the week after, and then ranked Oklahoma State to finish off the season.
Oklahoma State's no joke. They're no joke either. That's a lot of style points if they win.
Oklahoma, if they run the table, their strength of schedule, the remaining 3 teams, Iowa State hasn't lived up to the hype, but preseason they were in the top 10.
Yeah.
And most people's top 10 with Brock Purdy coming back. So if Oklahoma runs the table, there's no doubt they'll get in, and there's no doubt they'll get the shit beat out of them by Bama. I mean, it's just the way it happens every year.
Now, with these 4 teams that are making the playoffs, if the playoffs were to happen today, who's winning, Georgia or Ohio State?
I think we got to see Georgia and Bama play the SEC title first.
No, but I'm just saying, if we do it today, 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3, who's winning?
Nobody's beating Georgia, bro.
I think Georgia.
And then Alabama, Oregon, you take Bama?
Alabama and Oregon. Oh, yeah, 100%.
So we would see Georgia, Alabama, 1-2.
And Georgia's given up less than 50 points all season, bro.
This is an all-time defense. All-time defense.
Yeah,
all-time defense. We're here on week 10, and they've given up less than 50 points. Like, it's an all-time defense.
Yeah. All right, Roland, take us to the NBA.
All right, well, let's get to it. New year, new me. The NBA to start the year off, I mean, needless to say, it has been a little different. I
Yeah.
guess there's been some different teams that have emerged out of the woodworks as contenders or potential contenders. They might turn out to be pretenders in a couple of weeks. It still is early, but through the first couple of weeks of the season, the Wizards and Bulls, they're in first and second place in the East, and the Cavs have a pretty respectable record themselves. I think they're like 7-4, and they find themselves in sixth place in the East. Are you guys buying any of these teams? I know we talked about the Bulls a little bit last week as being a contender to look out for the rest of the year in the NBA. But are you guys buying maybe either the Wizards or Cavs as sticking around maybe for the playoffs?
I'm gonna sell Roland because I'm bitter. Because when you look at the Wizards and you look at the Bulls, these are guys that are made up of old Laker players, and we couldn't get it done with them. We couldn't, get it working. And now we're seeing them, highlights on ESPN. And it's not an easy pill to swallow when your team is struggling, back-to-back nights, winning in overtime. It's hard, but it's still too early for me to say anything about the Wizards and Bulls. The Bulls, I'm still not sold on them completely. I don't like for right now. Yeah, they're a highlight team, but in the playoffs when they're running half-court sets, I just don't think they got the size for it. And I said that last week. But yeah, Ben, what about you?
I like him. I know that Patrick Williams got hurt and he was running the four. One of probably their best defender. He's that guy.
He's running the four and he's like 6'7". This is crazy.
Yeah, that's PJ Tucker style. That's just PJ Tucker
true.
style. And that's exactly what he is. He's a 3-and-D guy. He's going to guard the other team's best player. They got Vucevic down low. I don't mind their size. They're athletic as hell. Zach LaVine, DeRozan.
Lonzo to Zach.
Yeah, and Lonzo as well, another great defender. We saw him defending Luka pretty well last night. They smacked the Mavs. I'm in on the Bulls, man. I'm in on the Bulls. I like the roster they assembled. I like the grit they have. Yeah, they might struggle for offense at times, but, DeRozan's mid-range and Zach LaVine, we saw him going stupid last year, like super dumb. Since the bubble, he was on one. So I'm in on the Bulls. I think the Bulls finish with a top – I think the Bulls play in the playoffs first round with home court advantage. I think the first round they'll be playing home court, top four.
Top 14.
It's gonna take me a while to come on to that team though.
So if you guys were to choose one of the Wizards or Cavs, I mean, because like I said, we did talk about the Bulls last week. What do you like of either of these teams?
I've been watching the Cavs, Roland. I'm not going to lie to you, and I even put it in the group chat yesterday that I was completely wrong on Evan Mobley. I mean, the Rockets already have Christian Wood, but Mobley looks nice, man. The thing that sucks for the Cavs is they just lost Colin Sexton to a torn meniscus.
Yeah.
So that's not good. He was their point guard. He was a younger guy. They still have Garland. They have Okaro. Mark Aiken's hurt right now. But the Allen and Mobley tandem down low, the 2 7-footers, kicking it old school, taking it back and locking down the paint, it's working, bro. Ricky Rubio had 39, 37 in the Garden last week.
That game.
Or a couple of days ago when Sexton got out. I'm liking what the Cavs are doing. They're doing it the right way because they accumulated young talent. And it seems like it's coming around now that they got the big men, the defenders, to hold down the paint. Because defense is going to be the main thing. If it's a layup line like what the Rockets are doing right now, giving up layups left and right, it ain't going to work out. But I like what the Cavs are doing. That injury hurts, but Ricky Rubio as your starting point guard ain't that bad with a bunch of young talent around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a serviceable guy. He's going to get the ball to the right spots. He's not going to hold back the offense, and he can get the occasional bucket here and there. He's a pro's pro. He knows what to do out there for sure. And I like the Cavs. They're going old school, like you said. They're going against conventional wisdom in the NBA today. They're going with the 7-footers. Like, oh, you guys are going to go small? Well, we'll just load up on 7-footers and you guys are going to have to deal with this.
And Kevin Love hasn't even been playing, bro.
Yeah.
Like, Kevin Love's forgotten. You know what I mean? It's a young core, and they're getting after it.
I like what I see out of Mobley. He has a pretty mature game. He has a lot to it for just being a young guy, first year out of the league, but that's why they drafted him so high. I will say I like the Wizards. I don't know if they have enough size to truly compete, but they have assembled a pretty decent roster, and I like them to make the playoffs. I don't know if they're going to be top 4. I'm not willing to call that shot, but I think the Wizards will stick around. I think they've been like a play-in team or eighth seed the past couple of years, so I don't think it'd be anything crazy for them. But they did lose Russell Westbrook, so people think all those points walking out the door. But I think they actually look better without Russell Westbrook. And I mean, I'm a Russell Westbrook fan. I've liked him since he came into the league. He's a different guy now, but the Wizards look good. Bradley Beal, he's not lighting it up by any means. Like, they have a lot of different ways to go with the ball now that they added Dinwiddie. Kuzma looks okay. Harrell looks back to the way he was before.
Harrell looks good, man.
And KCP, another Lakers guy. Like Justin was saying, these teams are made up of former Lakers.
Kuzma's out there too.
Yeah, Kuzma's out there averaging about 15 a game, looking pretty decent.
He's been getting some double-doubles too. He's been hitting the boards, and they're without your boy Rui, Roland.
Yeah, Rui.
Hachimura.
Hopefully he comes back soon. I don't like that he's been missing games, but he's been practicing. He's in the building. Supposedly he had cut contact off with the team. I was reading into it because I'm invested in Rui Hachimura and his success. Hopefully
and he still has time, bro. Like, he has the build. He's a smart cat, young.
He still has time.
He needs to be healthy
for sure. But he had cut off communication with the team for about 2 weeks, supposedly in the summer, and he didn't show up to camp. All that is out right now is that he got clearance for personal reasons to miss time.
And they went and got guys like Kyle Kuzma to take his spot. He didn't like that as well.
I'm pretty sure that didn't.
The Wizards have been bringing in guys. Daniel Gafford, another guy that they have.
They hit on Daniel Gafford. He looks nice.
He's good. He's good. They got him from the Bulls. They're doing. David Bertans has been out. Like, their roster ain't bad. It's just the chemistry, and they got to do it night in, night out. Team I expect to be in the lower half, though, like Roland said, of the playoffs, and the Cavs as well. They're competing now, but it's early in the season. They'll be in the play-in mix. So I think these two teams.
I'm just glad to see that. I think the NBA, like, the teams overall, are getting better. I don't know. I think a lot of them are getting better. There's not a lot of people in the slums.
More parity in this league now that the super teams are dissolving.
And parity is what all leagues should strive for. I mean, you want to be like the NFL, right? Where you have the majority of your teams before they went to 17. Yeah, 8-8 or 7-9 are the most common records in the NFL. It's not going to be like that anymore because of the extra game. But you want parity, like Ben said, any given Sunday. So yeah, you want this in the NBA. Good to see.
All right. Moving on to the NBA power rankings. Roland, are these your personal power rankings or are these provided by NBA?
No, I put some of these together. I mean, the top three, I think, are kind of consensus right now, just based off the record, or the top two at least. The Warriors and Nets come in at 1 and 2. The Warriors I think they're 10-1 right now. They just got a win last night.
9-1, I believe.
Or they might be 9-1. Let me see.
And they've been winning by March.
Yeah, they've been
10-1 now, Roland. You're right. 10-1.
10-1. Steph Curry he dropped a 50-piece on Trae Young's head the other night. Candace Parker, everybody's been showing that tweet. She called it. She's like, anytime that you play a guy like a protege or like a guy that's like on your level from your position, you got to light him up. That's exactly what Steph Curry did. He dropped 50 on him. He's looking like the early MVP candidate right now. The
Wiggins
Nets
too last night. Wiggins went stupid.
Wiggins, a guy that I like to make fun of sometimes. He played good last night. He's looking like he might be a decent piece for them down the road. And people are saying Clay's going to be back soon. Do you like him coming back to be at least a contributor from the 3-point spot?
I think he'll be between a 12 to 15 points per game guy.
That's all they need him to be. Yeah, that's all they need him to be. And then the Nets, they keep on proving that maybe they don't need Kyrie.
They're zoned in right now, bro.
That's crazy to say, but they're zoned in. They're a team on a mission, a bunch of vets.
They know their roles.
Yeah, KD and James Harden. I know we were talking about it last podcast with James Harden adjusting to the new foul calls. We saw another star last night or the night before complaining about it. And Damian Lillard going on a little monologue after that game. Shit. I mean, he's a star, but he's having a rough adjustment to it for sure. The Wizards at 3, like we just talked about them, they could just be an early team or early season success story, And then the Jazz and the Nuggets creeping in at 4 and 5. The Jazz, They're always a competitive bunch. They're always right there. They have a good group of guys together. What do you guys think about the Jazz and Nuggets? Do you like these guys to end up at the top of the West?
I wouldn't have the Nuggets there. The top five personally. I think that they've been playing well. They've been getting some of their tougher teams at home. We know that. We'll get into that win, but they had a good win against the Heat at home. And then they even won without Jokic, I believe, yesterday. So the Nuggets are doing all right, but still without Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. out with back problems. I don't expect them to be in the top five. Do I expect them to be a playoff team? 100%. But I don't expect them to be in the top five for much of the season.
What about you, Jess?
I'm good with the Jazz being there. The Nuggets would be 5-6 for me right now. Even though I'm not with the Bulls, I'd probably put them at 5 just because they do got that head-to-head against the Nets. And I think that's, and they're, number 2 in the East right now. So I would put them a little higher.
The Bulls in there over the Wizards for damn sure.
Well, I think the Wizards are leading the East right now.
No, I know, but come on.
I'm saying that's what you would do?
Yeah.
That's what you said you would do. Yeah.
We've seen it, just an example in the NFL, the Arizona Cardinals were the only undefeated team, and they still weren't even in top 5 power rankings.
You're right.
So there's absolutely zero need for the Wizards to be in this top 5. If we're being honest.
They do have some pretty tough wins. I mean, they have some respectable wins on their schedule, and I think that's where a lot of this comes from. At least, again, early season.
Yeah.
The season's just 11 games in for some teams, 12 games in.
We can all agree the Wizards won't be there.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think the Wizards will be.
There should be an asterisk. This is way too early power
so
rankings.
People don't think,
Yeah, like I said, I had the way too early. I forgot to put the way too early on this, but again, we're doing this weekly, so it's going to change. It's fluid. But the Warriors, they were number 1 last week.
Mm-hmm.
They're number 1 this week.
I think their consensus number 1.
There's a trend there.
Right,
there's a trend there.
Consensus number 1 for sure.
All right. Moving on, the big drama in the NBA. Roland, tell us about it.
The Joker. The Joker, he's serious right now. Let's just say it like that.
There's no Joker
right now. He's not joking right now. He got suspended 1 game for the most talked about incident in the NBA probably this week. He got body checked, or he got shoulder checked by Markieff Morris, going up for a half-court shot, or he's going to pass the ball. Took one in the chest. Morris starts to walk away. Jokic gets a look in his eye, and he just clocks him, lays him out. 2 questions for you guys. Are you okay with the move that he pulled on Morris? And do you consider Jokic a dirty player? And is it okay if he's a dirty player? So 3 questions.
All right. So let me answer question 1 before Ben does.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it because I think it was all reactionary. If Markieff doesn't do the check, the other thing doesn't happen. It's a causation situation here. If X doesn't happen, Y doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So I'm okay with what happened. Now, Ben, I don't know if you have a different opinion on this, but I would like to hear what you think about that.
Yeah, I kind of stand on the other side of it. And me and Roland talk. A la verga. No, the show's over. Yeah, what up? Hey, it's never too late, Ron. It's never too late. Ron joining the show.
Because I'm late, I'm gonna take this for y'all.
There you go. We're here talking about Jokic. So where I stand on it, do I think Jokic is dirty? I mean, if did Markieff Morris deserve, or whatever Morris it is, deserve it? Yes.
Yeah.
He did deserve it. 100%. But Jokic is kind of dirty, and I'm not saying I don't like it, but when you're 7 foot and people want to try you, you got to put your foot down.
Yeah.
And he has shown that he ain't going to let himself get punked, even though he looks like that awkward, funky, tall guy. You know what I mean? So do I think Jokic is dirty? Yes, I do think Jokic is dirty. But I also think that Morris deserved what he got. I don't think that what he did to Jokic was as bad as people are making it seem. But Morris should have never turned his back. That's on you, man. You know what I mean?
I don't have a problem with what Jokic did personally. I know we were talking about it before when it happened. He turned his back on him, but I think Jokic would have done that either way. I mean, granted, Morris is not Devin Booker, but didn't he choke Devin Booker last season?
In the playoffs, yeah, with the Suns. Yeah.
So Jokic, Jokic has shown that he's about that life. He's not going to get checked by somebody, or he's not going to get punked. It's unfortunate that Morris turned his back, but like Ben said, that's on him. And I do think Jokic is a little bit, I wouldn't call him dirty, but he's just not going to get punked.
He stands his ground.
Yeah, you got to stand your ground, I think. And sometimes you waver on that line sometimes.
Bro, I saw y'all talking about this in the chat, like whatever it happened, like 2-3 days ago. But I just, as a matter of fact, I just saw the video today. Like I barely saw it, and it's cool that I got on when you guys are talking about this because I fucking love this. Like Jokic,
Ron.
bro, straight up. No, I promise. Like, dude, I'm so glad Jokic did this. I think it's good for him. I think it's good for the squad, because at the same time, it makes the squad feel a little bit tougher. Like, hey, we got an enforcer here, so don't come, don't come try to fuck with us.
Which is what he wants to be the enforcer.
And then also, like, it's I'm glad because it's the Morris brothers. It's one of the Morris brothers. Like, these guys are the ones like you put on the squad to be, that nasty guy, the goons, and then boom, boy, you just get punked. Like, that's
when your enforcer gets checked, it sends a message.
And you guys were talking about him turning his back or whatever, but one, that's kind of like a B move. I won't say the word, but like you hit somebody and then you turn your back and you walk away. So I'm glad that Jokic went and checked him, and he stayed on the ground too, bro. He tried to like play it off. He was a real G.
He sat out the next game with an injury because of it, dog.
Yeah, but he milked that, bro. Because if he was a real G and if he was a real like Morris brother, whatever, he would have got right back up and he would have gone at Jokic. He looked like, he got punked, bro.
Right? So are you saying he's fake tough?
Yeah, I mean. They've always been that. I mean, when have they ever gotten in a real squabble? Like, yeah, they're the goons.
They're supposed to be the tough guys of the league, but I don't know.
Not anymore.
There's a reason why some of these guys have that reputation in the league. Like, because the guys that play with them night in and night out. Like, I get that we're watching from home, but there's a lot of shit that we also don't know about. We saw Jimmy there yelling, "Yo, let's go to the back." I'll ask y'all this: Is Jimmy that dude too, or not? Because I had some people that I talked to questioning that Jimmy's a fake tough guy, that he waited till there was a bunch of security to start talking sweet to Jokic. Me personally, I think Jimmy's about it. Everywhere that Jimmy goes, the reputation follows. This team just got tougher. This team just got tougher. Anywhere
because he plays hard. Yeah. Jimmy does play hard. You can see it in his game.
Does he only play hard, or is he a hard guy as well? Does he play tough?
Or he's never really gotten tested.
He straddles that line of being a hard guy, not a hard guy, because that is true. He did wait until there was some separation to start mouthing off. But then there's pictures of him waiting, after all, in the hallway. So, I mean, he was in the back, like he said. So,
do we expect these guys to punch other players, at center court in front of everybody to
not anymore. It's not the
Malice at the Palace, bro.
Do we need another Malice at the Palace to stamp a guy as hard? That's what it seems like, though. Like we should not be questioning Jimmy Butler's toughness.
I am surprised that only the 1 game suspension. I would have thought they would have fucking suspended him way more, because this was super clear in the middle of the court. I mean, the way that he fell, the way that his neck fucking snapped and all that shit, I thought he was going to get way more than 1 game. Definitely. So I think this is light work for Jokic right here as far as suspension. What else y'all talking about?
I think he's about it. I don't think he's a fake tough guy, but I mean, even the pictures of them waiting for Jokic in the locker rooms, what are you even going to do at that point too, though?
No, I know, but Jimmy was the only guy like peeping, like, where the fuck you at? If you actually look at that picture, all the other guys are just there staring at the ball, dude. Jimmy's got his eyes like wandering, like, where the fuck you at?
Why didn't Bam like go directly after Jokic on that? Like, you just saw your fucking homie get punked rowdy, and like you run and like you don't do anything. You just stop like right before you get to Jokic. Like, and Bam's the other big guy on the squad, so he should have stepped up.
Can't expect Tyler Hero to be that guy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Bam and you're like, damn, Tyler Hero or me, like, you got to do something, bro.
Roland, any other topic on this that you want to talk about?
No, man. That's it. And that's the
Any other
NBA. I
angle?
mean, it's just getting started. Still first half of the season, quarter of the season, really. So we'll be talking more and more about the NBA as the weeks go on.
All right. Moving on to UFC 268. Now we had,
It's a good segue
I
to
thought,
UFC.
one hell of a card here.
Yeah, we almost had a UFC. Hell yeah.
All right, we'll open up with Justin Gaethje, unanimous decision over Michael Chandler, 29-28, 29-28, 30-27. Ben, I know you said you scored this, 30-27? You're in agreement with that, Judge?
I thought it was domination by Justin Gaethje. I mean, I thought that the ref should have stopped it in the second round, early in the second, to catch that 1.5. And he would have if Michael Chandler didn't have a reputation of, being one of the toughest guys like Justin Gaethje is. But between the leg kicks and that up on him, I thought Justin Gaethje controlled the entire fight, man.
Did any of y'all score it any differently than 29-28 or 30-27?
I had a 29-28 for Gaethje. I just maybe gave Chandler the first round.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was for me. I didn't mind the 29-28 just because of that first round. A lot of guys that I was with, Diego and Rufi, they were just like, dude, this could potentially be the fight of the year with the way the first round finished. And then the second round, there's fireworks there. And then it kind of died off toward the end. So I don't mind the 29-28 because that first round was you could say it was kind of a toss-up. But other than that, man, badass fucking fight, dude.
But the second could have arguably been a 10-8, though. I mean, he about had him out of there.
Yeah, he did. It was close, but respect to Chandler for staying in there. He went for
that.
He shot
Chandler's stock goes up, right?
Yeah. I don't know if it goes up, but you got to respect him. I mean, he's fought a murderer's row since he's come into the UFC. I mean,
he's only fought the top guys.
Yeah.
I think both guys, their stocks go up here, I think, for both of them.
Justin, so a question for you. Obviously, you answered it a little bit there, but my cousin Gene texted me, like Tuesday after the fight. Wonder, like, he came to the UFC just to test himself and get a shot at the belt. Now he's lost 2 in a row. Is he kind of like, what do you see? Maybe a fight or 2 left, or does he still have a career in the UFC? What do you think, Justin, as a big fan of his?
Well, I think at this point, chasing the title's out of the picture, but he still has more than 2 or 3 fights left if he wants to make fun fights with like Diaz and Connor and people like that. There's still opportunity for him there, but the market of him making another run, I think, is past at this point. He's not going to do the Glover and still, be in his prime at this age. He's just going to, make the money at this point. He gave it a good shot, a hell of a shot, but he came up short. And that's because in that championship fight against Oliveira, he had him rocked, but few bad decisions made him lose.
Yeah, bad fight IQ. I agree with you. I agree. I think that his time at fighting for titles are done, unless it's some short notice shit, because I know that he'd jump at the opportunity. And nowadays, I mean, you never know with those short notice fights. We see guys, Orals, Aspen Ladd, directed at you, getting pulled out a day, 2 days before the fight. So Chandler is a guy that stays ready for the most part. And I could see him possibly, after a win or 2, getting a title shot on some short notice stuff.
Yeah, that'd be his only path at this point.
For Gaethje, is the only thing next for Gaethje a title shot?
Yeah, he's just going to wait.
I think he's earned it.
Yeah, I think that his coach Whitman is smart enough too to just, that Gaethje wants to go out there and fight any chance he gets, but you just got to wait it out. Maybe get that rematch against Poirier. That was an all-timer. That was a classic last time they fought.
Do you like him against either Poirier or Oliveira?
I don't like him so much against Oliveira because of how easily we saw Khabib handle him on the ground. And I know that he does have that wrestling, and Oliveira's not the wrestler Khabib is, but man, it was Swiss cheese. It was butter as soon as he hit the ground. So against Poirier, he's got a chance. I would say it's maybe like a 60-40 Poirier advantage.
Moving on to Rose Namajunas champion defeats Zhang Weili in decision. 47-48, the judge saw for Weili, and then 48-47 Rose, 49-46 Rose. Another one with this judge, I didn't see it 49-46. I saw more 48-47. I think the difference maker was that 5th round where Rose gained control and was fighting a championship fight in that round as far as being on top and taking control. What did y'all think here?
I agree. 48-47. I just think it's interesting that Wei Lee is still angling for another rematch.
Trilogy she wants.
Rose. Yeah, she wants a trilogy, even after losing the first two.
First one very decisively.
I mean, I don't hate it because the second fight was really close. Who else is Rose gonna fight? There's some up and comers, but right now, is there anybody even at Zhang's level? I saw the fight. I got really worried. I put money on this fight, and I was worried in the beginning. And then luckily, Thug Rose just went ahead and pulled it out. So it was a good fight regardless. I don't know who'd be next for Rose. Maybe she just does it because there's nobody else to fight as well. And, maybe they make a little bit of money off of the trilogy fight.
Yeah, I think this was one of the ones I didn't expect it, but I wish I had taken Charlie for a walk during this fight, bro.
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that good, man. And the one thing that I will say about that judge, because Justin has it out for that last judge, the scores might be off, but the good thing is, at least that judge always scored it for the right person that should have won the fight.
Yeah.
So that I will say.
We'll
I
take
can
that.
concede to that, man. I can concede to that.
We can't complain that much because at least they got it right, man. There really wasn't bullshit decisions on this card. I don't want to talk about this fight. The takedown in the fifth sealed it, but
yeah,
like in the Shane Burgos and Billy Quarantillo fight, that was a hell of a fight, and it was before this fight, hell of a fucking fight. But the judges could have messed that up and scored it for Quarantillo when Shane Burgos put on a hell of a performance and he needed that. So yeah.
That fight was really good, bro.
Yeah,
I think what hurts this fight, Ben, because what you were saying was you wanted to walk your dog during this fight was
Charlie's his name.
Charlie. So you had that first fight with Anger, Chandler Gaethje, then you have Shane Burgos and Billy Quarantillo, another banger, and Chito Vera, Frankie Edgar was very entertaining too. So you're on this culmination of a high, and then you got that little mid. So it doesn't live up as much. So I can understand that.
Yeah, it did. And Rose fights usually live up to it, but I wasn't that impressed with this.
What do you think about Carla Esparza getting her chance against Rose?
And Carla Esparza has a win over Rose. Carla Esparza was the first division champion when she won.
Deserving shot, right? I think she's deserving.
Definitely deserves it, but we already saw Dana White hint that there might be other opponents. Esparza didn't take too kindly of that, did a podcast sometime this week and said, who the hell else deserves a shot? I'm on whatever fight win streak. I have a win over the champion. And, the styles contrast. Esparza's kind of that takedown artist.
Wrestler.
Yeah, exactly. Rose likes to stand up, even though we saw her win the fight by getting that takedown in the fifth. So I think Esparza is the fight, and Dana's some bullshit if he doesn't get to it.
I think that Esparza would be a good opponent because are we seeing a little bit of regression from Rose? Or do you think she's still?
No, I just think Weili's definitely number 2, and we just saw 1 versus 2.
Yeah. Do you like Esparza, Justin, or no?
Cookie Monster's cool, but I don't think she can beat Rose at this level of Rose. When she beat Rose, she beat a different Rose completely. I think the boxing of Trevor Whitman, it's really stepped up. I think Rose is your number 1 here in this division. The only one that can come close, in my opinion, will be Weili.
Rose was like 3-3 when she fought Carla Esparza the first time. So she was very young in her career. Now she's a champion. She actually believes that she's the best, and that's what helped her get this win late in the 5th round, to be honest. Weili, hands down, is second best in this division. It's kind of like what we're going to get into with this main event.
Exactly. 1A, 1B.
So, Justin only likes that chick that you're always about. Who's that female fighter you're in love with?
Mackenzie Dern?
No, not
Is
her.
it? I mean, we could go to the next slide and worry about that later. But I just remember you're always talking about this.
I'm colorblind.
Why are you blushing?
I see him.
Let's get on to the Kamaru Usman fight. Champion defeats Colby Covington, unanimous decision, 48-47, 48-47, and there's that third judge again, 49-46. You got it right, I think, for the most part. For me, guys, honestly, I had this one a draw. I really did. I thought Colby won the last 3 rounds, but I thought Kamaru got a 10-8 in the second one. That's just how I scored it. This fight was so close. I thought it lived to the hype again, just as good as the first one. I wish we could see this fight every week, and it's so good. That's just my opinion. I was the winner this weekend because I enjoyed myself.
Pinche madre.
1A, 1B for sure. 1A, 1B. I agree. But Kamaru Usman, I think he solidified himself as, one of those guys that's on the trajectory of being maybe one of the better fighters of all time if he keeps this up.
Yeah, somebody put on Facebook today all the list of people that he had beat, and this guy's like number 1 contender, number 2 contender, welterweight champions. Like this guy, he's on his way. He's on his way. If not, he's probably already the pound for pound best fighter right now in the UFC.
In the rankings, he's been pound for pound number 1, but I think that he's on his way, if not already, to passing GSP as the best ever in his weight class.
Welterweight.
He's never lost in this division. In the UFC, he hasn't lost since he came in. He did it the hard way. He won that American Top Team versus Black Zillions season of The Ultimate Fighter. He went out there and won it, and since then, he's cruised. This is a guy that Justin and Roland were both clowning earlier in his career, the 30% days, when deservedly so, he deserved to get clowned for saying, I came out here, I only gave it 30%. Like, fam, don't say that shit out loud, all right? Just, hey, I have the flu. This is my flu game. That's all you got to say. Leave the percentages for math class, bro. You don't got to say that shit in the octagon. But since making that, the best thing that happened to Kamaru Usman was having to fight Gilbert Burns because it made him switch camps. Yes, Henry Hooft is a beast, and those guys over there are a beast, but he went from the East Coast over up to Denver, Colorado, Upper West Coast, whatever the hell it's called, Midwest. And Trevor Whitman had himself a fucking night. I mean, it's Coach of the Year just off this pay-per-view alone, bro. You had Gaethje go dominate, title fight coming up next. Rose defended her belt, Usman defended his belt, and it was at the Garden. I mean, they should.
That's sick, dog.
Trevor Whitman should get a bonus for fucking putting this pay-per-view on for Dano.
The Trevor Whitman bonus.
It was, bro. It was a hell of a night for Trevor Whitman, and the guy deserves all the credit he's getting. We've seen him with innovations for the gloves in MMA. For pokes, he's trying to put a little past the knuckles so guys won't eye poke anymore. He fucking eats, sleeps, and breathes MMA. That's what he does, and that was the best thing that Usman could have done, was heading out there with him in Colorado.
Where to from here for these guys?
I think with the announcement of Masvidal pulling out of the Edwards fight, you could probably do the Street Judas and Kobe Covington thing, as Kobe calls it. I think that writes itself. I think that could be a pay-per-view. And Usman's already, lapped this division already once. I mean, the only one that he hasn't fought is Edwards since he's become a champion. And of course, you got the Khamzat. He's fought him before, before they got the belt.
Just like you said, the way he's kind of taking care of this division, he already beat Colby twice. If he goes to another division, where does he go, up or down?
The only way to go is up, but Israel Adesanya, another Nigerian, and he's always said it's better to have 2 Nigerian champions than one. So he'll never go up and fight him. He'll never go up and fight him.
I want that
That'd
fight
be
so
a
bad
fucking
too.
hell of a fight.
It'd be a hell of a fight, but give me Usman, and I think Usman would be.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I think
I'll take
Usman would be
Usman
like
too.
minus 180 against Izzy, just because we've seen Izzy get taken down and controlled on the ground by Blachowicz, although that was at 205.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But honestly, for Usman, we're gonna get in. Let's just get into the next slide, and then we'll break down who he should fight next. Because I thought that Edwards and Masvidal. So with Jorge Masvidal out of this fight that had to happen, we all wanted this fight. Edwards has wanted the fight since he got the 3-piece and a soda in his backyard in England at the O2 Arena. It finally happened. He was finally able to that night facing George Masvidal, and Masvidal pulls out with injury. Right after Colby Covington is saying the only fight is me against Masvidal.
I know.
If you ask me, this is a stunt by Masvidal. Wasting my fucking high on Leon Edwards. Nobody knows. I need this fight with Colby. I ain't even gonna fucking. I'm not gonna mess around with Leon Edwards. That's what I think it is.
So you think it's a business decision?
I think it's a business decision by
It was
Masvidal.
a business injury.
He'll fight Colby. He'll fight Colby Covington next because that's the fight to make. And Chimaev needs to step up, Leon Edwards, and fight that fight. And that will be the fast Chimaev. Leon Edwards, who was up next, Leon Edwards needs to win a fight. The last we saw was by Nate Diaz. You know what I mean? Diaz didn't finish it, but it didn't look good at all for Edwards in the 5th round. He needs to win a fight and fight for the title. Chimaev said, send the contract, I'll fly out tomorrow. They were booked, and somebody had to pull out of that. That's the fight to make. Winner gets a title. No bullshit. That's
So you don't think Edwards will just sit out and wait for Usman at this point?
Dana won't let it. Dana
Won't let it happen.
Dana won't let him.
Daddy Dana.
Chimaev has too much hype, bro. And he was already supposed to fight Edwards. He didn't get touched. He's ready to go. This fight just makes sense.
Yeah, Chimaev fight makes the most sense.
It makes the most sense, Roland, because you want to give him the title shot.
Yeah,
but is he ready yet? Let him beat Leon Edwards.
Well, let me answer the question. I think that Leon Edwards is ready for a title shot. I do think that is the case. I don't think that he's going to be allowed to wait, like you just said. I don't think Dana's going to put that on the table for him.
Right.
I agree with you there. But Leon Edwards, it's a high-risk game, but it just sucks because you can't sell a fight one. I don't think you would sell a fight against Usman that much. Like on a standalone, you'd have to pair it for sure with another banger or two below.
It might have to be the code.
Sure,
it might have to be the code.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want to do that to Usman because Usman is on his GOAT run right now.
Mm-hmm.
So Edwards sucks for him, but on the Chimaev or Kazmat angle, if he is on the fast track, if he is on the fast track, this is the fight for him. This is the next fight on the fast track. You take this fight, if you win it, an automatic title shot, and then you're in.
And you get all these eyeballs from the people that are watching Cumshot Chimaev. He has eyeballs. There's no doubt. People are watching him fight. If you beat this guy, fam, you get balls on you, and it vindicates you in that title shot. Put some hype around it because you're the guy who took this guy Cumshot off of his high horse. It just makes sense, bro. It makes all the sense.
Is that his real name?
It's Hamzat.
Hamzat, but Colby Covington called him Cumshot Chimaev. That's an all-time nickname, bro. That's an all-time.
You're a sentimental man, Justin. Do you feel bad for Edwards at this point?
Yeah, man, it just sucks because as far as putting in the work, his record's good. He hasn't lost since Usman. But at the same time, the stock didn't go up for him when he fought Diaz. I think the stock went down, and he got the win. It's a freak of nature thing that Nate Diaz is. You know, everyone, all they talk about when they talk about that fight was that 5th round where he got him rocked. No one ever talks about the other 4 rounds where Leon gave him the business. But I mean, that's just what it happens when you fight enigmas.
Yeah.
Enigmas. There's a word of the day.
There you go. That one was for you, Ron.
Justin.
But yeah,
I feel bad for Edwards at this point too. I do feel bad for him. The guy can't catch a break.
Victim of circumstance.
I kind of agree with Ben. I think Masvidal was just like, I'm not going to waste my time with Edwards, a guy that would probably wash Masvidal. Yeah. I'm not that high on Masvidal anymore. He's still on his high, but in terms of where he stands in the top of the division, I don't know.
The rivalry with Colby, bro, it just brings too much money. Like
too much money for sure.
Plus, if Masvidal's gonna take the L, he's like, I'm gonna take it to fucking Colby. I ain't taking it to fucking Andrews.
Exactly. And he already heard Colby say the only thing that makes sense is he and Street Judas or whatever he calls it.
Yeah.
So now that he knows
once
Colby
he said
that fight,
George is like,
I'm out.
I'm chilling.
And he wasn't hurt. His feet were up on his coffee table, and he was watching the breaking news ticker.
It's a money fight. It's a money fight.
Fuck yeah,
it's
for
the only
sure.
thing that makes sense, bro. That's it.
It writes itself. All right, we already talked about Carla Esparza and what's going on with her and Dana, but it is Max Holloway fight week, so me and Roland are definitely excited about this weekend. 3 UFCs in a row for us. It's good. The best is blessed. Guys, I'm just going to be honest before y'all go and give your take on this fight. If I ever were to say something's a mortal lock, this would be it for me.
Oh, wow.
I think Holloway is going to just take it to him. It's gonna be a bloodbath. Holloway's gonna win.
You're gonna come shot to Holloway.
Minus
No,
750.
not that.
Minus
Never that.
750 is the line that I saw. I haven't checked
Yeah.
it recently, so I don't know. what it is.
750. Get the fuck out.
Hey, Justin, if that wasn't a lock, I don't know what is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is such a big mismatch. I'm letting you all know
That's
that this is a
almost-
lock.
Hey, Justin, that's almost as bad as Ron making Josh Allen his start of the week last
Nah,
night.
you're taking it too far. What I'm saying is guarantee.
L
I
and
didn't say I'm
everything.
betting it. I said it's a guarantee. It's a lock that he wins.
I think
Boy,
he's gonna
boys,
win.
y'all see, no?
But are you? There's no
Exactly.
worry at all. No worry at all that he's such
None.
a huge favorite, and he's taking this fight against Yair when he really doesn't have to. Supposedly, Dana told him he could have already waited for the title shot.
Yeah.
He wants to make
what do you think
money.
about
Gotta stay active. This is an easy fight. We've already heard Yair Rodriguez say, I've got to end it inside of the distance. So if he's going to be going for broke, it's going to be an exciting fight. I thought it was going to be more like 5-1 odds. Roland, you said it's 7-1. And listen, Yair was who was he supposed to fight before this? That he was a huge underdog to? The other Russian,
yeah.
Justin. The Russian
Khabib's
that had all
cousin.
the hype. The skinny Russian, Sharapov, or what was his name?
Come on,
Magomed
Justin.
Yeah, him. And he was like a 4-1 underdog to that guy as well. So if he was 4-1 to that guy, you might have expected 10-1 to Max. I think Max is going to put on a clinic similar to what he did to Calvin Kattar, and he'll have this guy out of there by the 4th round.
Oh, wow, they only.
He said he was going to break the
fight 5
record for
rounds,
strikes, try to get to
Yeah,
like
so-
900 or something like that.
It was before the 5th round.
And I'm just reading a headline. I didn't read the whole article, so I'm not gonna take credit for anything if I said anything wrong here. But I just read something of Yair Rodriguez saying that Max Holloway is going to be a great teacher and that he's not hung up on winning or losing.
He already gave up. He already gave up.
Hey, I didn't read the whole article, so I don't know if
He's
It's
He's
so
playing
ridiculous
psycho-
how not worried I am about this fight for Max.
He's playing
I've never been so
psychological
chill
games,
about
bro.
something. I'm probably less worried about this fight than Ron was worried about the Cowboys winning this Sunday when he said for sure they're winning against the Broncos. That's where I'm at right now. Less worried than that.
I always get a little nervous when Max fights for some reason, but we'll see. I think, like Ben said, he's going to get him out on the 4th, but Yair Rodriguez is going to be going for broke, so who knows what's going to happen.
If you have free play money in any of your accounts, throw it on Yair because that's cashing.
Ah,
Oh, this guy.
I'm the mush.
That's cashing.
All right. Well, just wanted
What's
to finish off UFC today, guys, with this little fun clip from Brett Okamoto talking about Chimaev. But as you can see here,
Oh, come chat.
Nick Diaz, 209. He says, I'm available. Put me in, coach. What do y'all think about that? Nick Diaz versus Leon Edwards.
Nick?
It's Nick,
I thought
not
that
Nate.
shit
It's
said
Nick.
Nate. Oh, wow. Is he saying
Nick.
against Leon or is he saying against Chimaev?
I think he's, well, whoever Masvidal withdraws, so it's against Edwards.
Wow. I mean, that'd be a horrible fight for Nick, but I guess that he really feels like shit about the way he performed last one because he looked horrible.
He did,
man.
bro.
He
Yeah.
looked like I didn't even want to call him a Diaz the way he was performing, to be honest. He looked bad. It was close to Chuck Liddell's comeback. Like, it was fucking bad.
What if he's calling for the fight against Hazmat?
then he's gone fucking crazy and he needs to get some help. That's
Some,
what's
shit, some crazy ass things. They're smoking some crazy ass shit in Stockton.
Yeah.
Fucking-
you think Hazmat's legit? I know we're talking about him against Nick Diaz, but you think Hazmat's legit?
I think he needs to fight Edwards, and we're going to find out. Because I think the competition that he's fought, I don't think that the competition that he's fought is good enough to find out. Yes, he's gotten those style points, like we were talking about Cincinnati.
Has
not
it been
getting.
touched?
He's gotten those style points to where he could turn around and say, hey, somebody got out of the fight. Let's go. I'm ready to fight because I didn't get touched last fight. So he needs to fight a top 5 guy. Is he top 10 material? Hands down. Is he top 5 material? Let's find out.
Edwards is that little, test
Edwards
that he
is
could fight, and we could find out exactly who he is.
It's perfect, bro. Like it's
perfect.
Like the only other thing that would have made sense was like maybe Covington coming off the loss. Covington already told you he wants Masvidal. Masvidal pulled out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Fucking
it's
George,
Like a puzzle.
man.
It's like a puzzle, and all the pieces fit. So let's just make it happen.
Yeah. Ron, you were talking about free play. Where can they bet at?
Bet King Online, promo code WTBS. Nah, hit us up, bro. Hit us up. They got some fucking badass crypto bonuses right now. It's dude, you have everything right now. NBA, fucking UFC. Obviously, you have football. College football's around. College basketball just fucking started a couple of days ago. There was some nice games so far.
Duke against Gonzaga Saturday.
Shit, there it is,
number
man.
1 against number 5.
Yo,
Texas,
dude.
Texas.
Yeah, like message us on Facebook, on Twitter, wherever, man. Like if you just want to go through us, just hit us up, and then we'll send you the right way. So these guys give bonuses like crazy. You hear you hear everybody else talking about it and making money, bro. Like all your friends, you have that one friend that fucking bets. So if you want to be that guy, talk about betting and win some cash too. That's where it's at, bro. Bet King Online.
All right, guys. I guess we'll be seeing you all Sunday morning, 10 a.m. sharp, 10 to 11. We'll have some updates and some plays for y'all as well on Sunday morning.
Ben, you're going to bring the tacos or what?
Yeah, Sunday morning. It's going down, baby.
Sunday at 10 o'clock. I don't think I'm going out, so I'll be ready.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice. Not a game.
Me. Bam, bam. Me, man.
Not a game.
Slap that like she scored 30.
What are we even talking about, man? We talking about sports here.